One of the big updates in an upcoming patch I'm excited about is the adding in of the factions. Way back, still in the beta, I've been saying that factions would work wonderfully in this game, that it's too open and empty, and that they should really add in the factions to this. They have such a good system to utilize the factions, and there has been several little hints throughout 76 in the game so far about other factions, such as a notes hinting at the Brotherhood in a little quest line where you can go through get information on them, backstory, and I think you can even actually join the Brotherhood some point in 76. And little hints with the Raiders, with Rosie after her quest line and her radio station comes online, and you can hear her talking about her excited about the Vault Dwellers coming out of the new the Vault, and she's talking about them coming over to join her and her new Raiders. This is a perfect segue into the introduction of all the factions. I feel right in the beginning this faction thing is going to start out small, maybe just join it, maybe some new events for it, but I feel they can do so much more, so much bigger with it. Add in all the different factions, the Brotherhood, the Raiders. They can maybe add in a few new ones like how they had the Minutemen and the NCR. Add in some new ones for the West Virginia. You join a Raider faction or the Brotherhood of Steel, and you fight either enemy faction players or enemy faction NPCs that they'll add into the game. Have the NPCs for each of them where you can take quests for them to bring your rep up and fight the other players, fight the other NPCs to bring their rep down and try to keep yours on top. Another way to play into this, Bethesda said that they want to add in more events to keep things lively. What they could do is have a faction event spawn every so often, and you can join in and help your faction. If they ever get it fixed, the Civil War reenactment that spawns in this top part of the camp. Come here, choose the side that you want to help, and then you can help them. Or maybe right away when you join in, you're instantly on your own faction side, and you need to do the event to keep your faction winning. And throughout doing these events, you can pull your faction's level score up, and then as you increase your level faction, you take over parts of the map, and as you're inside a radius of the map where you've taken over for your faction, you get a buff when you're questing or just venturing out inside that area. And so make it so everyone's fighting for all these things, trying to take over that area for their own faction, making it more to do, more going on, more events, and add a little bit more to the PvP. This would add in more reason for people to jump in to do the events and try to bring their faction up to get the little buff, more to do, add in more for the PvP instead of just ganking low levels or trying to get their junk or something like that, giving a reason and a little hype for the factions. With the newest update coming out on Tuesday, Bethesda is going to allow, when you level up to 50, you get one special or perk card switch between. Now, that's useful, but only one. There's so much that people could screw up in the time between them. I think that they should just change it so at level 50 you can have one pure reset. If you take a card, a bunch of cards that you don't like or don't want, then you can go take them all off, start all over, and rebuild your character at level 50 the way that you know. Now that you're more familiar with the game, you know which cards you want to have, which cards maybe you want to dump one off. Maybe now you take cannibal, so you eat everything, so you no longer really need the food. So having a green thumb won't really help you as much anymore because you're not picking things. Instead of just dropping it off and struggling to get the perk cards that you have, that you want to get, have just a level 50. Do you like your build? Yes or no? If you don't, you can just completely wipe everything and rebuild from scratch just once. They don't need to keep doing this so many times. Maybe once at 50, maybe one more time at 100 to have your finalized build at level 100. That way you put a lot of time in, build your level up, and then can still change later on. So you don't have to start all over with a new character just for a whole new build. Another small feature I think they should add, the vendors. Instead of having the vendors restock on their money every day or however often they have them restock on them, they should have every time a player comes, buys and sells, depends on the money that the vendor has. Every time they sell, the vendor's money will change. And when they buy and have some good stuff worth buying from the vendors, instead of all of this, there's a bunch of useless stuff that no one's really going to come over and buy here. Put some useful things that people will come over and buy. Maybe some extra schematics, but they're little I guess they're not too high in price, but a little higher up there. And then have a money system going on throughout the world, and all the different, well, maybe have there's too many vendors, be pain trying to find them all, but maybe have their money stacked with each other still, but players can influence the money that's inside the vendors. I have said this before many times in a few different videos and in streams. The building mode in this is terrible. Nothing ever works the way you want it to. This is a big thing that more or less what they should add. So I'll touch on some what they should add. Big thing that they gotta fix. It's always a struggle and a fight to get things to work. But I do think that the budget is too small. I really liked going into Fallout 4 and trying to build a house, build it up, build it the way I like it. And I think that the budget in this is a little, I guess there's so many people that they need the smaller budget, but they can increase it a little bit more and make it so that things connect and work a little bit better. Instead of having constant red, does not work, is always floating, can't build the way that you want it to. The building in this is a little bit frustrating. So I'll be excited to see the new changes and add-ons to keep the game growing and fixing up all the mistakes and the problems, to see where this game's heading, and hopefully it becomes a really good game